Greetings and salutations, my friends, and welcome to a new video. Today I bring you a vlog that I've never really done before. I have seen this type of vlog before where it's very focused on resetting for the following month. So a monthly reset and kind of chatting about maybe your reading plans for the upcoming month, maybe the books that you read, kind of setting yourself up for success, both reading and not, for the incoming month. And since we are at the end of May, which is actually crazy to say because we're stepping into the middle point of the year, I thought it would be really fun to do a June monthly reset. There are many things I need to get done today as, you know, kind of the last few days of the month roll in to prep for June. So I need to figure out what my TBR is going to look like for the following month and kind of have an overall general idea of what that'll look like for me. I'm not going to make my TBR in this video, but we are going to discuss some reading plans that are already solidified for me as part of my reading projects I've got planned for the next month. I also really want to chat about maybe some of the books I read this past month. I also need to tidy up my shelves a little bit and intro some books that I got recently that you might have seen in the little book haul I posted very recently. I need to put those in my TBR shelf. I just need to sort out through some other shelves in general as well, and then prep a ton of stuff for Patreon for beginning of month. So I thought I'd bring you guys with me on this little behind the scenes moment because I love watching videos that don't necessarily have anything to do with reading, but they have a lot to do with books. So it doesn't necessarily entail reading 10 different books in a video or even reading a singular book in the video. And I do think we're reading today because I do feel that reading urge. I've got two things I'm looking at starting today. However, putting that aside, I really love watching videos that are everything but reading, but it's still about books. And that includes an ultimate bookish video, that includes the monthly resets. So I thought I'd give it my own spin, my own try today, bring you guys with me on this very productive day and see where the day takes us. And the first thing we gotta look at is actually the remaining bits of my May TBR and what my kind of loose reading plans are so far for the month of June, despite not having made my June TBR yet, because anything can happen when I make that video. However, again, some things are kind of solidified and I kind of want to chat about them, share a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes, and kind of go from there. So I hope you guys are excited about this one. And if you're also into the resetting vibe, then maybe join me a little bit as I'm resetting, because there's going to be a ton of different things happening in this video that I think would be really, really fun for, you know, maybe some company while you do your own resetting. It's always really cool. But before we get started with today's video, I do have to give a massive shout out to Bellesa, who I'm partnering with today. It is not my first time partnering with them, and I certainly hope it is not the last, because you guys know I love working with them and bringing you guys a little toy giveaway if you get my drift. And I especially love Bellesa because they are a bi women company that focuses on all things empowerment, specifically to embrace, explore, and celebrate everyone's sexuality. And that is exactly where this comes in. It's a little treat to yourself moment. I've got a couple of small discreet things to show you, and that's something that I love about Bellesa. It is something that looks nice, it feels nice, and with these ones specifically, they're all waterproof, they're all rechargeable, and again, very discreet, which we love. The first one being Bellesa's viral TikTok sensation, the Rose suction toy. It's got 10 different suction modes, so you can adjust that however you want it. And you already know it's splash proof and rechargeable. We also have the Pebble, which has vibration and suction controlled separately, which is really nice. And it's got no weird patterns, which is great, so you don't have to worry about something weird coming up and feeling kind of weirded out about it. It all makes sense, I promise. Then we have got one of their best sellers, the Air Vibe, which also has dual stimulation, both G and C. And last of the showcase I have got for you today is the Flutter Vibe. This one's deadly, y'all, so please watch out. This also has dual G and C, but it's mimicking something else. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Listen, if you get the vibe, si entiendes la puta vibra, then you just get the vibe. You just get the vibe overall, people. And listen, all jokes aside, the reason why I tend to make this kind of gaggy and funny, a gag is not an intended pun, I promise you. However, the reason why I make it so is because I know often these conversations will be kind of uncomfortable. And one thing you can trust about me is that we're gonna have real conversations in here. So Bestie Mel has got you, which is why there is no embarrassment, there is no no shame, and you can do so confidently because, trust me, I do it too, bestie. For every single one of you that places an order at Bellesa, you will get a free rose suction toy. Absolutely free. That's the giveaway, because Bellesa likes to give you guys a little something. So make sure to check the link at the top of the description so you can sign up to our giveaway, both mine and Bellesa's, and you can get yourself a little nice something in case you've been wanting to renew or you just want to get one for the very first time. Don't say I didn't tell you, and you know exactly where to go. You know you want it. First thing we have got to talk about is actually my May TBR, because I still have 2 books left unread in my May TBR, and at present I am not going to finish them before the month is over. Very sad. However, I do have plans for both of these books. The first one being The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This book I will leave as a safety in my TBR card, just in case I'm not in the mood for whatever ends up being picked for June. Then I can default to one of my picks for the previous month, and if I don't read it, obviously in May or in June, then this book will immediately enter a little contest, if we will. It'll enter Read It or Unhaul It, the ultimatum version, which essentially means that any book that I put in my TBR and I don't read within the span of 2 months will get read in a Read It or Unhaul It to figure out if I am keeping it or if I'm giving it away, because it's not going back to the TBR shelf specifically and sitting for longer than a couple of months to figure out when I'll be in the mood to read it. So we'll figure out how this goes, but I'm hoping I do get it read sometime soon, because I am really excited about this. I just did not have enough reading days this month to actually get this read and finished. And then the next book is As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, which I know is for sure staying in the TBR card as well, because I mentioned this in the latest 5-star prediction video I put up a couple of weeks ago, that one of my favorite aspects of videos like those in terms of making a prediction or even just a sit-down video is reading either all of the books or most of the books, and then making a reading vlog, kind of finishing out the list and giving an overview of if the predictions were right or wrong. In this specific case, were my 5-star predictions actually 5 stars, or did I end up rating them lower or DNFing them or getting rid of them? Which were the cases? What was the final wrap up? I think it's really fun. I myself have never done it, but whenever I've seen other creators make those types of videos, I think it's really fun to kind of keep that thread going and to see exactly what happened with the books, because they may not all be 5 stars. And in the specific video where I mentioned As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow, which is the 5-star predictions I put out last April, so in 2024, I mentioned this book, and I still have got, I think, 2 or 3 other books that are also in that video, not yet read, are still in my shelves. Maybe we can pull a video together to celebrate the tail end of that predictions list and then figure out what happens with the rest of the books. And so this one will stay in my TBR with the purpose of creating and starting that video in June. I don't know that I'll read all of the different books in June, but at least this one, I do want to read it then. And so both of these books are staying, hopefully victorious, and hopefully I'll end up really loving them, which means that for the month of June, I'll likely still end up picking 5 different books, and I'll try and make those other 5 books that I am going to use for other videos, so that I can not worry about extra books or things that I might not need or want to read the upcoming month. And I know some of you guys might be thinking, you don't even have to make a TBR if you don't want to, but it's fun. Listen, this little jar plays for me and against me every single month, and I love it. Even though I might not get a book that I am specifically in the mood for, it's still a challenge, and I might end up reading it and loving it. Like, you never really know what's gonna happen, and I think it's a fun way to run through my shelves. So I am hoping that the TBR jar will be kind to me, kind enough where I can put some of the books I have got as prospects for June in the TBR, so that I don't have to worry too much. But at present, that's what the TBR is looking like. And the 2 options that I've got today as well for books that I may start later on in the day when enough work is done that I can rest easy, that the work is done and I can actually lounge and read. I low-key kind of want to go to a coffee shop later today once again work is semi-wrapped up or is fully wrapped up, so that I can sit down, have a nice little coffee, and then get some reading done. I have been dreaming of having a coffee for like the past 4 days. I don't know what energy was up in the air this week, but I, for some reason, have not been able to sleep well. And I mean, thankfully, I've had enough reason to not have coffee because that has meant a lot of grinding my teeth at night, not being able to peacefully sleep, and then I've had to take my medication for my bruxism and my temporomandibular disorder because it's just been all out of whack. But today I woke up and I'm feeling good, so I might test it a little bit and have a nice little cup of coffee. I'm hoping that that is the case later today and that I'm able to not only go to the coffee shop but also just get a table, because sometimes it's really full and you can't really sit down there. But push comes to shove, we'll pick up a coffee, we'll come back home. We'll figure it out. However, these two books right here, which are not honorary picks for my May TBR, but like kind of, these are both Patreon book club picks for May. I am notorious for reading my book club picks towards the tail end of the month or reading it like right before the live show. This is a bi-monthly book club, so this will go from May and June, so I'm not too worried about the devils. However, Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, this does hopefully, I mean, ideally need to get read before the month is fully over. And so I would like to start this today, and then tomorrow when we will no longer be vlogging it together, no! But tomorrow when I'm doing other things, I'm hoping to kind of mostly read this throughout the afternoon and plow through as much as I can. So I am hopeful. So I think this is what I'll be focusing on today, potentially. So I am currently in the midst of a Hunger Games reread, so I might also take that with me. You never know. There's just too many things I want to read right now. Like, you know when you're in the reading mood and you're just up for reading anything and suddenly you're overwhelmed and you're like, I don't know what to pick. I feel like I'm right there, because I also, in my e-reading device, I do have Rewinded Back by Liz Tomford. Have I started it? No. Did I download it? Yes. Do I have it? Yes. Do I want to read it? Yes. So there's just too much happening all at once in my brain with what I want to read. So I need to properly make choices later today when it is time to finally sit down and lounge back and get some reading done. But for right now, thought I'd give you a nice little update for the TBR and what's going to happen with these books before my TBR jar video gets made and put up and you guys get to watch that portion of things. Not too shabby. And also, every book I've read this month is a 5-star. Hello? Like, what is that? Never happened before. Never been seen before. Who am I? I don't know.
Have you guys ever seen a loaf? Can I entertain you to see a loaf being stirred? Oh, she's stealing my chair. She steals my chair every single time. You have never seen a cat love a desk chair more than this one. God dang it, she loves this thing. I don't know if it's the coccyx pillow that I typically sit on, or if it's just her, just, you know, wanting to be close to me, my scent, my warmth. Maybe that's just me and my ego wanting to be fed and being like, oh my gosh, she loves me. But god dang, does she love this chair. Nothing and nobody can get her off here. Like, she is just one with this thing. I love her. I love her. Look at a cat. Look, what a studious little cat. Look at her.
However, all of that to be said, a girl does need to cook some breakfast because I have taekwondo today at 1:30. That'll be like our midday break, and I absolutely love having that as like the midway point of my day. Also, let's ignore the fact that I'm using a protein shake container as your tripod this morning. It's okay. I love that being like the midpoint of my day because it gives me enough time to kind of go work out, reset, and then continue with whatever work I have to do. So if I have to come back home, keep on answering emails or send in like a sponsorship or anything of that sort, or even if I have to live stream, read, do anything work related, I love having that be like my moment of de-stress before the day continues. It's honestly a great outlet to be able to let out some steam and disconnect, because I am typically the type of person that finds it super hard to disengage and to de-stress. And so it's been such a great thing for me to embark on and sign up to. I have been doing it for a little over a month now, and I broke my first board a couple of days ago. Literally 2 days ago, I broke my very first 2 boards. I had never practiced breaking before. In fact, I was really nervous too, because it's one of those things that you really doubt whether or not you'd be able to do. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to break a board with my hands or with the ball of my foot. Like, there is simply no way that that's gonna happen. And I was psyching myself out so freaking much, mostly because it's the type of thing that you watch people do in like videos or a movie or a TV show, and you think that it involves like a specific type of person to be able to do that. And that's kind of the image I've always had of martial arts and like Taekwondo specifically. I was like, something that looks cool that other people do that's so awesome, something Mel would never do, and something that Mel would absolutely never break. But I did it. I'll put the video right here so that you guys can see as I throw the eggie in the garbage so that you can see me break a board for the first time at the ball of my foot. It was honestly really epic. I really loved it. Point is, before we move on to anything else in this video and I show you kind of what I'm planning for my reading in June and the videos I've got planned, and you look at my calendar because I'm going to show you that as well. We have so much to plan and so much to show you still. Before we get into that, a girl needs to have a nice little breakfast, so let me get to cooking, let me get to eating, and as soon as I'm done, we'll be right back. One intermission later and we are here. Breakfast has been had and I'm going to reply to emails real quick before we jump into anything else. I have to send a couple things over to my media manager, and so I want to make sure that all of that is done, one, before the month is over because she does need it before June starts, but also before the day ends because I'll forget if I don't. And today is Friday, so we kind of have to get it done because the weekend will get here and June literally starts on a Sunday. So you already know that beginning of month, end of month rush is real when the month ends on a Saturday and you have to wrap everything up on a Friday. I am also streaming right now with Liv for Patreon, for our Patreon book club pick. So I'm doing a little bit of multitasking right now between chatting with y'all and being over here and then working and doing all of the other things. So make sure that you go check Patreon out if you haven't. I know it's not for everybody. It's definitely not, you know, something that you need to do if you don't want to. However, Patreon is always available in case you want extra content, in case you want book clubs, a Discord server, a bunch of different streams and chats. My Patreon personally is very stream heavy, which is why if you ever want just like that one-on-one interaction in real time and just want to have a good time across a variety of different hobbies, because we don't only do bookish stuff, I also do gaming things, crocheting and cozy hobbies and just a little bit of everything. So if you want a little bit of everything, then you kind of, you know, you can kind of head on over there and check it out if you want to. We're actually going to be reading The Night and the Moth in the month of June, which is very exciting. It's Rachel Gillig's new book. I absolutely loved, as you guys know, The Shepherd King's duology, which is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. And so we're going to be reading her newest release, and fingers crossed it'll be another 5-star, because those two books were wonderful. Thought I'd put it out there in case you're interested. However, again, let me send these emails real quick and I'll be right back with you. Let us get comfortable in this little corner of the bookshelves. I've just put my Taekwondo uniform away, stowed it in my little tote bag so that we can grab that and then run when it's time, because it feels like I'm always running to get to class. I don't know why. However, let me show you some of the reading plans that I am anticipating for the month of June. Again, I don't know how much of this is actually going to make its way into my overall June TBR, because I don't want to put too many books in there, which is also why I'm trying to figure out which method of reading is going to be the most realistic and the best for me in June so that I don't overwhelm myself, because I do stand the potential of getting incredibly overwhelmed by some of these reading projects because I want to do too much at once. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to read so much and I'm trying to read 10 million different things at the same time, and I don't want to set myself up for failure. However, what I do know I am definitely planning on reading in June are these 3 books right here. The first one is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, then The Blood Trials by N.E. Davenport, as well as The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. All 3 of these books are for a very special reading vlog that I'm going to be making in the month of June, and I'm so excited about it. I don't know how much I want to give away. If you can guess what this little TBR is for and what it entails, do let me know in the comments. However, I have obviously read this specific person's favorites before, and I always have a lot of fun doing so. However, this go around, it's going to be like one of those like special commemorative sort of reading vlogs because it, you know, it is like its own unique thing and it's not a part of something else. I'm trying not to give it away. I'm trying to like retain the element of surprise, but I am really excited about it because I think I'm gonna love all 3 of these books, and all 3 of these books stand the chance of being, I think, rated anywhere from like 4 to 5 stars, if not all of them being 5 stars. It would be the biggest slay ever if we managed to get 3 5-stars in a video, which we've already done in my 24-hour reading challenge that I uploaded recently. However, if we could do that again, that would be the absolute bestest case scenario. So I've got those for a reading vlog that like I'm struggling to not disclose because I'm like, I want to share so badly, but I also kind of want to keep it a little bit of a secret whilst also already showing you what the books are. And then the other one I am thinking of making next month is actually a Reader on Holiday Ultimatum version, which is going to involve all 3 of these books right here. So we have got The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, Throttled by Lauren Asher, and then Bonnie by Mona Awad. These were all 3 books that when I was unhauling from my shelves a couple of weeks back, I was already kind of ready to let go of. However, I was assured by many people in the chat as I was, you know, streaming and unhauling that I stood the potential of enjoying all 3 of these books for different reasons if I obviously went into them with the right set of expectations, and that made me more than enough curious to keep them and see what happens. And so I have all 3 of them in like this little corner of my bookshelf so that I remind myself what the next episode is going to be. And I'm hoping that I can get that filmed in June as well, mostly because the books are so short that I think it's definitely possible for that to be the case. So I am confident enough that I can do it if I, you know, plan out my month well enough and I stay focused. So I am hoping and praying, which is why we have to do some planning today. But that is some of the reading I am planning for the month of June. Other things that I would love to get for my TBR that I have right here: Fullmetal Alchemist Volume 3. I would love to read that this month because I have obviously been enjoying the first 2 volumes so much that I would love to get to that really, really soon, as well as Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. I would also hope to get that, but it's simply too much. I think especially with the rate I have been reading in this year, which has been anywhere from like 4 to 6 books a month, I feel like putting all of these books in a single TBR, I mean, the TBR would look hot as hell, but I just don't know. Do I think I can do it? Yes, but am I also scared? And mostly scared to set myself up for failure? Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. I am building my full TBR tomorrow. There are obviously other things on my shelves and I'm like, if I would get that, I could also make it work for other things and I would really enjoy reading them. But I feel like as of right now, those are the books that I'm looking at that I'm like, that would be so nice to read in the month of June. So fingers crossed, it all works out for me. One of the other things I also have to figure out is where a lot of these books are going because I don't have ways to accommodate everything on the shelves. Like, I mean, I have a full empty shelf right at the bottom. So if I have to shift everything over a little bit towards the bottom shelf, I'll have to, but I kind of want these books that are very much in the priority zone for me, kind of want them higher so that I can spot them really easily. Well, this one has got to go with the other ones I'm planning on reading for specific vlogs. The question is these three. Where am I gonna put them? I don't know if you guys struggle the same when putting your books in your shelves. Do you just shift everything? Do you just change your shelves a little bit every single time you have to reorganize? Why am I saying reaccommodate? Every time you have to reorganize something, do you just shift everything? Or like, do you set the books aside? Like, what does one do? It's only 3 books, but it's making my brain burst a little bit. You know what? I am an absolute clown because I think they all fit. Can you even see me? Oh my god, you can. Hi. I think they all fit down here without having to change anything, do they? Oh my god, they do. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And now to tackle this little shelf right here, because let me tell you something about this little shelf. This used to be my second TBR shelf. Outside of that big one I was just in, this was the other one. After I unhauled real big last year and I reorganized the shelves again and did my thing, I obviously now am only utilizing that one. This one is now full of books that I've already read, and this is like my only horror thriller shelf up here. Outside of that, this shelf is empty. Only problem, I have used it for storage for the entirety of the year and I have not bothered to really fix it. So I've got books, then I've got my Pokemon shelf, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Down here, I have got a Charizard figurine, as well as Uzumaki, which I still have to give to my brother because I unhauled it a couple of weeks ago. And then I have got 2 of my journals, my personal journal, and then I also have my Taekwondo notebook. Listen, this is really pretty. It's from Burga, and I got this with the sole intent of using it for my Taekwondo notes and making sure that I have got everything written down here, from the counts to the kicks and the names of everything, so that I can remember those for my belt tests. And so I've got those just randomly sitting on my shelves like they shouldn't be there, and everything about this just does not make sense. And so what I think we're gonna do is remove, I also love, I've got an order I made from a rip and ship from a Pokemon streamer. So let me show you these while we're at it. So random. This video will be an amalgamation of random things, I promise. Pokevital A, and then Colress's Tenacity, which are 2 of the cards that I need for my Shrouded Fable Master set, which is still not done. But it's like nearly there. It's like almost done. And I have yet to put those in my Shrouded Fable binder, which is this one, which, listen, it's looking really good. Like, I'm only missing, I mean, all of my bulk cards and reverse holos are done. I am only missing a couple. Oh my god, wait, I'm missing a Sylveon holo? I'm missing a Sylveon holo, that's a crime. Anyways, point is, I'm mostly just missing full arts, SIRs, the likes and the things, but honestly, not too shabby, not too many. So need to put those in the Pokemon binder. Don't mind us, we ran out of battery for a little bit, but it's okay. I was showing you, or I was about to show you, a miscellaneous binder that I have, which is just full of full arts and SIRs from different sets that I have gotten donated to me, or things that patrons have sent over. So I have got this binder, and then I have got my, oh my god, my giant, first of all, Blasty Boy card. This was a promo card in Blooming Waters, so I have that. And then this is, I believe, Stellar Crown. Yes, I've got my Stellar Crown set, which still needs a lot of work because this set is big. I thought I was showing you, but apparently not, but still needs a lot of work. And so all of this is just sitting in my Pokemon shelf, which really has no rhyme or reason other than the fact that I wanted to have them displayed, but like, is not working at present. So I just have to move all of this and put them in other areas of my house, also known as probably my closet, so that I can pull these out whenever I need to put something in the binders, but not have them taking up space on the shelves, so that I can properly rearrange some stuff, maybe have a couple books on display, and have some fun with the books, which is what this display is supposed to be. Because it kind of looks messy with these things on the shelf. It just doesn't look intentional, because it's not. So we gotta fix that. this vlog is gonna be a mix of me being in the office and then switching rooms and then coming back to the office. However, we are going to step out just a little bit because I am going to Taekwondo. And so, oh my God, I'm holding too many things at once. We are coming into the bathroom. I'm gonna fetch a little hair tie. And then we are going to, if I can turn off the light, we are going to fill up our water bottle, toss this into the tote bag that I take with me to class, and then we are going to skedaddle. I am going to take you with me so that you can see a little bit of the class. And I don't know how many of us there will be in class today. There's typically anywhere from 1, as in me, to 5 different people. So we'll see how many there are today. It's honestly just a toss-up depending on the day of the week, because obviously everybody manages different schedules and everybody's busy. So I don't know how many will be today, but I'll make sure that I get permission to film in the dojang, and then that I show you just a tiny little bit of the classy class. I'll see you in the dojang, people. Love you the most. And I'll see you in a little bit when I'm back from class and we can keep chatting. Guess who's back home? Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to me. Hello, we are back home. I honestly am very impressed with my makeup because I managed to go to Taekwondo, work out, and makeup is still pretty intact. So we're gonna stick to this for the rest of the day and hope that it continues to go well, because I was fully expecting this thing to melt off by the time I came back home from class. So I'm officially here. I thought I'd do some desk work before I will head out to the coffee shop in maybe like an hour and then some, so that I can eat some food there, have a little coffee, and then we can come back home and keep on going up until the end of the day. I also figured we could sit down and sample both Great Big Beautiful Life and then also The Devils, so that I could figure out what I am in the mood to read, because I at present don't really know how the books really start and like what my brain will engage with better today. So let us first sample The Devils and let us see what, Worst Princess Ever is what part 1 is called. Also, like, the end papers for this are stunning. And we also have this illustration right here, which is crazy. So this book starts with, it was the 15th of loyalty, and Brother Diaz was late for his audience with Her Holiness the Pope. Girly pop for a pope? Sign me up. God damn it. He fretted as his scarcely moving carriage was buffeted by a procession of wailing flagellants. I think I'm gonna learn a couple words, because what the heck? Their backs streaked with blood and their faces with tears of rapture, whipping themselves along beneath a banner that read simply, repent. What one was called upon to repent of wasn't specified. That is a crazy way to start a book. Okay, that's a lot. That's a lot on this Friday afternoon. And then for Great Big Beautiful Life, this book starts with, there's an old saying about stories and how there are always 3 versions of them: yours, mine, and the truth. The guy who first said it worked in the film business, but it holds true for journalism too. We're not really supposed to take sides. We're supposed to deal in facts. Facts adds up to truth. Fact, Robert Evans, producer, studio exec, and actor who coins that catchy mantra about the truth, was married 7 times. Fact, I, Alice Scott, staff writer for The Scratch, aspiring biographer, not much else, I'm not even officially the girlfriend of the man I've been dating for 7 months. I do think for like a hee ha moment, which is what I was saying earlier, for a book that I may be able to finish tomorrow or get us close to finishing by tomorrow or by the end of the month, I feel like I've got to go for Great Big Beautiful Life. So I feel like this is where my brain is at, not going to lie. So we need to pack this up in a little bit so that I can take that with me to the coffee shop. However, in the meantime, in this extra hour of work we'll engage with to, again, reset for the next month and make sure that everything's ready, I am going to make all of the graphics for beginning of month for Patreon, and then also double check my calendar. So my calendar I make typically about, I also don't know how interesting this is going to be, but I hope you guys find like some semblance of value. Get like a little peek inside my brain and how it works, especially with the facts that I was diagnosed with ADHD-C recently. So my therapist has been really emphatic on the fact that I need to have, you know, strict schedules, or at least build a semblance of a routine for myself, make sure that I thrive on those, make sure that I have a calendar digitally, and something that I can actually stick to and not something that's like dealt in hypothetical, something that's realistic, and then also have a physical calendar in my office so that I can actively look at that and see everything that I've got to get done in a month, when I've got live streams, etc., etc. And so I have to, one, double check this calendar because I made it a month ago. I made it about a month in advance just to make sure that I have enough time to switch things around depending on how my month has looked like for May going into June. So I do know some things need to be changed. So we're gonna get that fixed up. Then I have to transpose all of that into my physical calendar that I'm gonna show you in a second, as well as, again, make all of the graphics for Patreon. So at the beginning of the month, there are a couple of graphics that are pretty staple, pretty mandatory for me to put up, mostly for my own brain, but for also everybody to be on the same page as far as what's gonna happen on Patreon in that given month. And so the main thing is our monthly calendar. Every month I put up a calendar that, you know, mentions everything that's gonna happen live stream wise, or the post to kind of look out for throughout the month. And so I need to draft the body of text, and then I also need to make the actual graphics, meaning the actual calendar. And then I also have to make sure to schedule a book club reminder with the book club that we're going to be reading next month, which is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, which I don't currently have physically because I still have not gotten my copy yet, but it's on its way. So I need to wait for that copy to get here in order to make the chapter breakdown, but I can at least kind of map out how things are going to look like. Maybe I'll get the digital version so that I can map out things and kind of have the book both ways, so that I can make sure to have that weekly chapter breakdown down to schedule that as well before the month is over. And then I also jotted down something else that I need to please hold. Right, the graphics for the Patreon book club. I always announce the book club 2 months in advance. So right now, it's the end of May. Right now, I have to announce July and August so that people have enough time to get their book club picks, enough time to either purchase them or perhaps place in their library holds and figure out if they're going to read them or not. So I need to finalize those graphics. And there is something else I'm pretty sure I've got to get done, which I cannot forget about. Right, I need to make the Discord channels for the upcoming book club picks, and I also have to put up a giveaway for The Night and the Moth, which is next month's book club pick, because every month I do a little giveaway over on Patreon with, you know, the book club pick so that somebody can win it. And so I need to do all of those things kind of today before the month is over to kind of give it an entire week for the giveaway to run and for everything else to kind of, you know, settle in, make sure that they can go up by themselves so that I don't have to worry too much on the days that they need to go up. So I need to do all of these things before we head out to the coffee shop, because when I go to the coffee shop, I would very much like to just read and not do so much work, but it's likely that I'll take my computer with me or my iPad with me to get some work done still. And then I have a to-do list. Please hold, people, this is very important. I also have to, with working on my calendar, I have to finalize the June reading plans as far as reading vlogs go and see if I can fit all of the books that I showed you earlier inside a realistic schedule for the month of June, and then also plan out all of the videos that I'm going to be putting up next month, matching those videos to the sponsors. And last but not least, I also have to make some Patreon letters for the small council, which is the highest tier in Patreon, so that I can take those to DHL and to make sure that those are mailed out soon. So there's still quite a bit to do before the day is over. It is 3:30 p.m. However, a monthly reset for me kind of looks like this. It's not only, again, figuring out which books I read, which books I'll be reading, and kind of, you know, do the thing. I run a tight operation over on Patreon, and so it tends to soak up a lot of my time. I personally really love it. But with that, a lot of organization needs to happen to make sure that things happen smoothly. And then with that as well, these videos that you guys see also need to be planned out in advance to know when exactly I need to be filming certain things so that I can manage my week accordingly. So let us get to doing all of that, because there is a lot to do. Y'all, we are packing a bag and we are going. That was very aggressive, I'm so sorry. But we are packing a bag and we're going to a coffee shop, my favorite coffee shop, because I am ready to get some food in me. Thought it would be nice to head out, do some work remotely outside of the apartment. That is redundant because I just said remotely. And finish out all of the graphics I've got to make. I already put up the announcement post for the book club, so people already know what the book club picks are for both July and August. Now I have to make my monthly calendar now that I have officially rearranged my schedule, because it was looking kind of messy after some changes and sponsorships that came in at the end of May. So I needed to make sure to kind of reroute a couple of things, make sure that it genuinely just made sense, because there were some things that were very unrealistic as far as uploading dates and the way that everything was going to work out. So I ended up switching a couple things around. I am very happy with the way that June looks video-wise. When we come back home, I do have to remake my physical schedule, especially after I figure out the rest of the schedule while I'm at the coffee shop. We also have a cat. I need you to look at this, because this cat, what is she up to? Because I do have this whiteboard right here that I had to buy as per my therapist's suggestion and request. I also love that Sill's knocking into the camera. Please ignore. This household tends to be very chaotic. And that way I don't forget anything and my inattentive side doesn't play against me. So that's the current state of events. Let's go to a nice little coffee shop and let's continue fighting my demons. Because honestly, this entire time I have been filming, I mean, granted, it's a very chill vlog. I've been thinking about it all day, like how nice it has felt that a vlog is this chill. There's like no pressure to really do much of anything in the vlog except what I actually need to do or what I'm up to doing. And tell me why the entire time I've been thinking about how the vlog is uninteresting and I'm just yapping and I'm not talking about anything substantial. But like, that's a vlog sometimes, you know? Sometimes you just follow people around, have fun with it, and then just like call it good, and it doesn't have to be like this, you know, super elaborate thing talking about 20 different books. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe I could put like my wrap up in here, but I want my wrap up to be a different video, because you guys already know I like to go as in depth as humanly possible without giving any actual spoilers on the books. And so I'm like, let me just leave that for a separate video. But then I was like, oh, but I didn't talk about any of the books I mentioned for like the reading vlogs I'm planning for the upcoming month. But like those books I haven't even read, so like what else is there to talk about? Anyways, I'm out here battling demons, my own expectations, which tend to be really high for myself. It's unpleasant to look at, which is why I never really, you know, talk about it in videos, because I'm just a mentally ill girly pop who has to like fight herself half the time to like make sure that I get things done or put things up. And you know, I like to present like a very polished version, unbothered, version of myself. And then this month, and as I've been struggling with burnout for the, you know, for the recent, I love my socks in my hand, it's fine, you know, like the last couple of months. And I also feel like it's just the thing of I don't have to mask anymore now that there's like an official diagnosis in the middle of it, and now that like you guys know. And so welcome to a glimpse of my brain. Everything's a little bit chaotic, but things get done, and it's like kind of cool half the time, and like the other time we're just like reeling and spiraling. It's fine, it's okay, it's gonna be fantastic. Point is, we're gonna go to a coffee shop and it's gonna be great. So I'm gonna refill my water bottle. I don't like drinking water at restaurants. It never tastes as good as the one I bring from home, even though it's tap water. I don't think there's any logic to it except me being crazy. So I'm gonna do that and then head out, and we're gonna call to make sure that they are indeed free and they got a table, because what a tragedy it would be if I got there and they didn't. So I'm gonna call, and I'll see you there. I literally just pulled out the camera to give you guys an update as far as Great Big Beautiful Life goes, and they just turned the overhead fairy lights that they've got at the coffee shop. Perfect! So, I've been sitting here, I had lunch. The best lunch I've had in a while, to be quite honest, especially out of the house. They recently added like this bibimbap bowl. So good. Had some meat, some veggies, some rice, a fried egg on top. It was everything. And I really loved the fact that it had a lot of protein, because again, this body needs to sustain itself with a lot of protein, baby. So, great meal. I loved every second of it. The music is also really loud, so I hope that it's not like too, you know, it's not too in the microphone. I'm hoping the microphone will help isolate a little bit of the sound. I have been reading Great Big Beautiful Life, The Great BBL by Emily Henry, and I've read the first 2 chapters. I'm on page 23 now, about to start chapter 3. I totally forgot to bring a bookmark with me, so I'm just using my tabs, which I have not used yet. I've not gotten that annotation urge quite yet. I'm considering it mostly because it is a Patreon book club pick, and so whenever that is the case, I kind of like to take notes as I go for the live show so that I know which points of the book are best for the discussion, and so that I don't forget anything when we're discussing the book. However, so far, not really any urge has come by, but I'm sure if I get further into it and I get the urge to, I'll just flip back through the book and figure out what to annotate as I go. However, the setup of this book is so interesting. I really love the idea of it, and so far I really am enjoying it. Again, I know it's a very polarizing book. A lot of people haven't particularly enjoyed it because it's very different from Emily Henry's releases in the past. It seems that this one is more geared toward maybe like a literary fiction, women's fiction audience, where the romance kind of takes a back seat and happens in the background of the overall plot of the story, while the plot is like the central beeline of the book, which I really am for, honestly, because I definitely love seeing authors in new facets and seeing them try new things. The Great BBL deals with Alice and Hayden, who are both writers. Alice works at a newspaper called The Scratch, and she writes a lot of profiles on people. That's just kind of what she does for a living. Whereas Hayden used to be a journalist, and now he is a Pulitzer Prize winner biographer, so he does that for a living. And both of them are contacted by Margaret Ives, who is this huge socialite that went missing like 30 years in the past, and nobody has ever heard of her. Nobody knows where she lives, what she's been up to, and her family used to be really big in the communication space, and I think also in the media. Like, it seems they ran kind of the industry a lot, and then she also became a celebrity in her own right, and because she's been missing, she has been subject to conversation a lot throughout the years as far as what happened, where she's at, and the real truth behind her story, and all of the drama and kind of the tabloid titles before she went missing or before she disappeared. And so both of them are contacted by Margaret in order to essentially compete to figure out who's going to write her biography and who's going to earn that right. And the book kind of goes from there. I've just gotten to the point where they've both met Margaret, they've both met each other as well, and I really love Alice as a main character. I think there's so much room for growth and emotion in her character, especially because she seems to be the very upbeat, always kind of looking toward the brighter side of things. And typically with those characters in books, like, you already know they've got to have a moment where they crash and burn, because not everything is daisies and sunshine. And so I'm really excited to see where Emily Henry is going to take her character. But there's like this whole scene toward the beginning of the book. I mean, I'm only 20 pages in, so I'm not considering this a particular spoiler, but there's like this whole point where she's having like this monstrous drink at a restaurant that she's at. And it's like the ugliest, brightest neon blue type of drink. Like, it looks radioactive. And the way that she sends Hayden that drink, because he's like the complete opposite, right? Like, she's kind of the golden retriever, whilst he is very much the black cat. Definitely seems to be a lot moodier, a lot mellower. And so she's like, I gotta mess with him a little bit. I gotta brighten up his day. And so she tries to send him, and she successfully does, the most obnoxious drink at the joint, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. So that's what I have read so far, but I really am enjoying the writing. As always, Emily Henry as a writer makes her books really accessible, so I can't wait to just plow through this because it's very easy to read, and I can't wait to also see how she'll factor in like that interview style into the book. Like, I don't know if we're gonna jump into oral history method at some point of the book where it's more dialogue heavy, or if we're still gonna have a lot of that description thrown in the midst of, you know, maybe Alice and Hayden, which we've only so far gotten Alice's POV, and I think it'll remain that way, but like, I'm not sure if it'll be mostly just, you know, in description, in regular prose, seeing Alice interview Margaret, or if it's going to change formats, and if it's going to become more of like a mixed media format type of book. I'm really curious to see how she'll execute that, just format-wise. There are still a couple more things we have got to do when I get home to make sure that we successfully reset for the month, and that the May to-do list is fully finished before we even step into May 31st, so that tomorrow can be a chiller day and maybe I can read all day, because that would be lovely. But for right now, I'm gonna keep on reading a little bit, head back home, and then we'll chat there. Sounds like a plan. Guess who's back home? And I am back home and on the floor. When have you ever seen this angle out of me? Never is the answer. What we're gonna do right now is very important. Ooh, this almost works like a reflector. Hello. What we're gonna do right now is very important, because I'm about to renew my entire monthly calendar with everything that I fixed and inputted when I was both at the coffee shop and before I left my apartment. So we're gonna do all of that. A little system I've got going for myself is color coding everything in said calendar. So all of my live streams are purple, my days off are gray, green means Patreon post, and then pink is a video of a kind, whether it is that I'm filming or that I'm editing or posting something. So we need to make sure that all of these things make sense in the calendar. I have got all of my markers right here. I have got my paper towel so that we can clean this thing and just lay here essentially as I make sure that this thing gets renewed. I am gonna be very sad. I need a cleaner. I don't have a cleaner. Would just water do it? I forgot to buy a whiteboard cleaner when I bought the whiteboard. Please hold. We gotta figure something out. Oh my god, am I gonna have to head to the store and get a whiteboard cleaner? I think so. It literally will not leave. It's there. Why did I ever think I'd be able to do it with just a paper towel? We're going on an adventure. We're going to the store. Señores, que ilusa la niña? Que ilusa la niña? I am back home with some cleaner. Hello, it's just me and some cleaner and more markers. Listen, I nearly brought back home another cleaner altogether that was not the same brand of the markers I have, but I figured, you know what? Last thing I need is to get a cleaner for $1, which that's what it was, and I was like, ooh, I like $1. And the last thing I need is to get that and then it not clean the whiteboard, and then we're back to square one. So I am here with the same freaking brand in the hopes that it'll get the thing off without problem. We've got the eraser and let's spray this. Send a prayer up to heaven. Ah, it worked! At risk of having very poor lighting right now, because this overhead is creating shadows where shadows are really not supposed to go. However, I don't trust myself without glasses. The calendar is done. Look at it. It's beautiful. It's color coded. I am really loving how it looks in comparison to the first calendar I ever made, which was for May, because I did buy the whiteboard at the start of May. It really didn't look so good. It looked all kinds of messy because I started jotting things down as I was remembering them instead of actually going linearly, because with the whiteboard you have to go literally from the first square all the way to the other side, next square down, all the way to the other side, because otherwise you'll just start butting into things and erasing things with your hand, and then it won't look so clean. And then if you have to go back and write something down in another day, you can't, have to position your hands weird. I also wrote it like on the wall instead of putting it on the ground or on the table. I was literally leaning against the wall like this the last time I wrote it, so this looks far better. I have got everything in there, from my Taekwondo classes to my deep cleans to when I need to pay bills to when early access needs to go on Patreon, all of the live streams I have got, when I'm starting books, when I'm filming, when I'm editing, when I'm turning sponsorships in, and then everything else as well, my days off. This is my brain, much like Google Calendar will then alert me and remind me of these things, another part of my brain. So love this, love the visual that I get whenever I'm sitting here. I've never had a calendar like this physically, but it's very much needed for my brain to kind of bypass the inattention and I guess like that decision paralysis, or whenever my brain's like elsewhere, I can like tune back in. Anyways, it's great. It's a great visual representation for everything I've got to get done in a single month. Very accomplished today is how I'm feeling. I listened to throwbacks all way long as I was writing everything down. Believe it or not, it took me an entire hour to jot everything down. It was everything. As soon as before the storm came on, before the storm, everything, I tell you. So this was a great moment. I now am going to sit down on the desk and we're gonna tackle the Patreon letters I need to get done for this month so that I can mail those out probably tomorrow morning, if not Monday morning. I think it all just depends on how tomorrow goes down and if I have the time. So push comes to shove, set them aside, I'll send them out Monday. But all of that to say, we definitely need to get this done before the month is over. So I need to write down the postcard. I do all that by hand. And then I also need to make sure to include the bookmark that patrons get if they pledge to the small council. So that'll be one of the last reset things that we do today. I am very excited about it. Let us sit right back down at the magic desk. All right, friends, a girl finished everything she was doing. Yes! I officially finished the Patreon letters that I had to write for the small council members that joined so that I can mail those out tomorrow. If you guys didn't know, the small council tier on Patreon does get welcome letters every single month, and then every quarter, every season, I will mail out a set of bookmarks as well. In fact, June is the next month where I'm gonna do like the big mailing, and I'm gonna be sending out a new set of bookmarks, which is very exciting. So I can't wait to do that this upcoming month. However, needed to get these done, and then I also had to make a little book club breakdown. As I mentioned earlier, I did finish it. It looks stunning for The Night and the Moth, and because I saw that the digital copy was super pricey, it's $15, which I think is absolutely criminal, I decided to call on the Discord mods, which always save me every single time. Shout out to Nayeli because she's the absolute bestest, and we hopped on the Discord voice chat for a second so that she could kind of dictate where the chapters went and where the natural breakpoints came in for a 4-week chapter breakdown for the book club pick. I always do chapter breakdowns in case people want to sync up with their reading, or they want to kind of make the book bite-sized so that they don't feel like they have to rush through the book, and they can kind of break it up on a weekly or daily basis if they want to. So I wanted to make sure that that was done as well before the month ended. So we're good to go. We did the chapter breakdown, we did the monthly calendar, made the Discord channel, put up the giveaway for the respective tiers. I made the Patreon letters, so on the Patreon front, we are all good to go for June, which is fantastic. And that is it for today, friends. I hope my little dip into the monthly reset was successful. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of the behind the scenes of exactly what happens for how I run this operation. I know everybody manages it very differently and people go about it in very different ways. I personally love being as organized as possible, especially now that I know that I definitely need that level of structure. I feel like I need to be hyper organized and hyper in tune with all of the things I've got to get done. So hopefully this gave you a little insight into my brain and kind of showed you a little bit more of the things that you might not be able to see when these videos are going up. So there's that. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will now import all of the footage so that I can edit this video and fully wrap up the month successfully. If you like these monthly resets, let me know in the comments. I always love seeing what you guys love watching, and if there's anything specific that you like to see in these monthly resets, whether something I did or something that I didn't showcase today, do let me know, because I would love to know what people actually do in these videos, because I think the ones I've mostly seen are ones that have a TBR in them or that have a wrap up in them and that don't necessarily show like too much of the behind the scenes of work. but I know for me, the end of month, like the last 2 days of the month are super hectic, trying to get everything kind of together for the upcoming month. And that takes a huge chunk of my time typically toward end of month, so that when the new month rolls in, I can kind of start it peacefully. So do let me know what you like to see, what you want to see more of, and if you like these types of videos, because maybe we can kind of sneak them into the monthly lineup, if you know what I mean. So do let me know in the comments, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know down below, how do you reset for the following month? Do you have like this big routine that you go about before the month is over? Do you reset your shelves, maybe reorganize? How do you choose your TBR? I love to know these things about how people go about, again, organizing themselves and their routine. I think it's always so fascinating, especially as I'm trying to solidify mine. So if there's any way that you go about your resetting, do let me know. What are you reading currently? Are you trying to like get books finished before the month ends? I feel like when the last week of the month rolls in and there's still books left in the TBR, we're all rushing to get them done before the new month starts as well. So do let me know all of that down in the comments. And if you reach the very end of the video, let us leave some tech emojis. Anything related to tech, leave it down below, because today was a very work computerized type of day. So make sure to leave all of that down below if you reach the very end. Subscribe if you want more content like this. As always, Patreon is linked down below in case you guys want to check it out. As you can see, it takes a huge chunk of my time, from streaming to interacting on Discord, all of the book club related things, as well as just posts in general, obviously the small council letters, and a bunch of other stuff that happens on Patreon on almost a daily basis. There's always something happening over there. So if you do want to check it out and support the channel further, Patreon is always linked down below. It's definitely not a you have to, but if you ever want to support the channel further, show your love, appreciation, and just overall help make this a more sustainable endeavor, Patreon is always there in case you guys want to check it out. It's a great way to support the channel. I love you all the mostest, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye!